Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. DuEwa Frazier here, host and creator of Nerdacity Podcast. And I thought I'd pop in tonight to discuss what else? My Black History Month book giveaway, and also a few other things that are on my mind. Just finished recording episode 20 of my podcast, and it was a doozy. Not that my podcast was a doozy, but the focus of the discussion, which was Malcolm and Marie, the film on Netflix. How many of you all have seen it? Really, really interesting. You know, a whole social distance film. Just two characters in one room, or in one house rather, duking it out. So just did my recap on that. I also wrote a blog at Medium about it, and really interested to see what people think. We've kind of been chopping it up about the film on Facebook. It's been really interesting. Some people felt that the film is really making a statement about Black artists, Black filmmakers, and the racial divide in filmmaking and Hollywood moving and shaking. And so they really felt that Malcolm and Marie's relationship is more of just a symbol of the Black man who can't get ahead in Hollywood or something like that. But for most of us, we just looked at it as a film for what it was. Two people in a relationship, obviously, who aren't completely happy. And I started out kind of with the question, or thinking about the question of, is a girlfriend or a boyfriend entitled to being thanked and given, that formal acknowledgement at an award show if their significant other wins an award for their work? Like, when I was recording the podcast, this isn't what I wrote about in the blog, but I thought about it when I was recording the podcast. And I was thinking, when have I ever heard of a boyfriend or girlfriend being given a thank you during an acceptance speech? You hear an actor or a director, a filmmaker or a singer, whoever, saying, "And I'd like to thank my wife who's been with me for 20 years and our beautiful children," or, "And I'd like to thank my amazing husband, my better half." But I cannot remember a time hearing that someone is saying they'd like to thank their boyfriend or girlfriend. Not saying it can't happen, not saying it's never happened, but that's really what starts the argument with this film. Marie is pissed off that her boyfriend did not thank her during his speech, his acceptance speech for his award. And they obviously are a cohabitating couple. They're not married. I didn't hear them say they were engaged. I think at one point during the film, Malcolm says, "Well, let's get married. Let's get married, baby, because you really, you tell me about myself so good." And they're just fighting and arguing like for hours ad nauseum. And they can't even, get any affection or anything going, because they are just both arguing and at each other's throats during the whole movie. I know a lot of people, as we were chopping it up on Facebook, a lot of people were like, "Sorry, I can't watch. I'm not into it. All the arguing, all the mess. Two people in one room. It just wasn't very exciting. It seemed draining." But I was committed. I was committed to seeing it through, just so that I could do a review. So that's what I did. So that's my spiel on Malcolm and Marie. What else is going on before I get to the book giveaway? Also finished watching Lupin. How many of you all have seen Lupin on Netflix? It's also another really interesting series. I started out with Bridgerton, loved it, continued on with watching Bridgerton through the many episodes. And so we've heard that Bridgerton has been renewed for season 2. Yay! So we will get to see the diamond of the season again, or whoever will be the next diamond for season 2. But Lupin, it's a series that is set in Paris, and it stars the actor named Omar Sy, a quite striking looking actor. He's on Instagram if you want to look him up. And the movie, my understanding is it's been translated in so many different languages and it's showing in so many different countries. I really think they're speaking in French on the movie, and I just happen to be seeing the voiceover. But anyway, it's really interesting. Omar Sy was being raised by his single father, an African immigrant, and who was working as a driver for a very, very wealthy family. When the father of this wealthy family accuses him, his African driver, of stealing a very, very valuable jewel necklace piece from his home safe. And this is what starts the whole conflict and the focal point of the movie, the series. Lupin, or rather Hassan, who Omar Sy plays in the series, his father was wrongfully accused of stealing this valuable necklace, and as a result, he was sent to jail, and shortly after, he died. And when Hassan grew up, he ended up having to go into a group home or something. He was orphaned because his mother wasn't living either. It's really kind of a sad story. But anyway, he starts studying this book about a master thief. And he figures out a way to disguise himself throughout his life, take things that don't belong to him. But the whole point of it is he's trying to get revenge on the people that put his father in jail and caused his father's death. So it's really interesting. But the thing about Lupin is that it's a really short series. Like, just when I was really, really getting into it, it was over. So it's only 5 episodes, right? So, but I think there's been talk of Lupin getting a season 2, so I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so what else is going on? There's like a lot of stuff going on in pop culture and even politics. Have you all heard of, I think her name is Marjorie Greene? Marjorie Greene, who is a politician, a Republican, a representative who's been causing a bit of a ruckus at Congress on Capitol Hill. And she's pretty much being outed for some bad behavior with her colleagues, and which involved actually the new Congresswoman Cori Bush, who's from Missouri. And so Marjorie Greene has, created a very bad reputation for herself of being, a disruptive colleague and someone who does not practice safe practices for COVID, was not wearing a mask recently and was called out about it, and has since made some, racially insensitive, racist remarks. And now she's being, some of her duties and committees that she's been on, she's being relieved of those duties. So it's always interesting to hear, these times are sensitive. I think if you're someone that has extreme views and you're someone who's very divisive, this is really not the time to be practicing in those views. We want to bring people together and have unity politically and everywhere else. So it always kind of makes me kind of tisk and shake my head when I hear about these kind of stories, because I'm like, she's supposed to be serving and representing her constituency, tongue-tied, from wherever she's from, but yet she's actually, causing more problems rather than building among the community of people she's working for, and, serving as a bridge to be unified among all these different people on Capitol Hill. It's like, lady, we've had enough strife, problems, and racism in the last year and even more. Do we really need any more? We're really sick of it, sick and tired of hearing about it. So anyway, that was in the news. And what else is going on? Bunch of pop culture stuff. Something interesting, Serena has said, according to Insider.com, Serena Williams has said, according to Insider.com, that her daughter Olympia calls her Serena instead of Mama. You know what? I'm not surprised to hear that, because Serena, like many famous, very famous, notable people, their kids hear other people calling them by their first names all day, every day. And we know that Serena is like the greatest athlete, in the world, at least one of the very few great tennis players in the world. So, her daughter has probably caught on that, everyone calls my mother Serena. Just like I wonder, does Blue Ivy and call her mother Beyonce? She probably does. And it's probably not even a big deal because they hear everyone calling their parents by their first names. So anyway, I now want to just get into my book giveaway for this week. Hi, Dr. Lou. Dr. Lou, do you want to come on my live right now? That's Dr. Lou. He's a fellow podcaster. Okay. So Dr. Lou may not want to go live today, maybe another day. So my latest book giveaway is Class Act by Jerry Craft, and he's also the author of The New Kid. And Jerry Craft, as I mentioned in a previous live, is a Newbery Medal winner and also a New York Times best-selling author. And so this is the third book that I'm giving away for Black History Month. And the purpose of this is twofold. One, to promote Black authors and literacy, right? Well, it's not twofold. This is going to be fourfold. One, promote Black authors. Two, promote literacy. Also, to build engagement among my followers and friends who support my podcast, Nerdacity, and also to build my subscriber base on YouTube, where I post many of my podcast videos. So I'm hoping that one lucky subscriber to my YouTube channel who also follows here at Nerdacity Podcast will also send me a DM after you subscribe, or if you're already subscribed, if you really want this book. This is a really nice graphic novel, a great book for any middle grade reader, boy reader who doesn't really like novels, but he'll devour an illustrative book, a great graphic novel. Great for a book club as well, and some homeschooling if you're currently homeschooling with your kids and, they're not in school in person, they're doing virtual learning. This is a great read. Good for discussion. And Jerry is such a wonderful author. Again, this is his second book in this series. And Jerry also has a number of books in what he titled the Mama's Boy series. So you got to check Jerry out. But I'm happy to mail this book off to a chosen winner this weekend. Anyone who might have a kid or a young reader in their life who they really want to gift this book to for Valentine's Day. How about that? Okay, so I really think that's all I have for you all tonight. This is going to be short because I've got some more work to do tonight. And just an announcement, I'm looking for innovative podcasters to join me and do some upcoming talks and chats and events virtually. So if you're a podcaster who uses traditional platforms like Anchor, Stitcher, what are some of the other ones? Maybe SoundCloud, Podbean. Please DM me and reach out. You'll see the graphic that I posted earlier today. I really want to build a network among podcasters, make some new friends, and hopefully collaborate and do some cool things in 2021. All right, well, thanks for joining me. As always, please stay tuned to more updates. Follow me on Twitter at NerdacityPod1, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/DuEwa World. Have a good night.